Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today on Vicious Whispers with Mark Tullius. Today we have episode 25 and chapter 18 of the Brightside audiobook. Only one more chapter after today, and we'll finish up that book. Not entirely sure what's going to happen the week after. Originally, I had wanted to go directly into trying to stay in Brightside and run that contest where I'd be sharing one chapter every week on here, YouTube, and everything else. That is going to take a little while because we are slowing down. Well, production is delayed. Let's put it that way. The story's all finished. We are starting to record, but it's going to take a little while and still have to figure out the entire contest. And so that is going to be probably a couple of weeks. So maybe we'll run some short stories in between that. Not entirely sure, but for now we have chapter 18. And then next week will be the finish with chapter 19. Hopefully you guys are digging the story. I'm really enjoying writing the sequel right now. I just finished chapter 24, a rough draft. So I have, let's see, we have 46,000 words so far, and at least another 6 chapters. So it'll be roughly around 60,000 words, and then I will go back in, completely rework it, add to it, take shit out, try to get it to, it'll probably be finished like around 75, 80,000. It's not going to be a super long novel. A lot of excitement. It's kind of hard to keep up that intensity on a book like that. And Brightside itself was only about 73,000 words, so should be pretty cool. And then, so it'll be done. Hopefully, I'd like to have it finished by definitely by the end of the year. So it will be coming out in 2020 for sure. What else? Oh, had a scene in a recycling yard. I used to work in recycling. I used to always wonder what would happen if a body got stuck in a baler or a grinder or different machinery. And that's what happens in this last chapter I wrote. It's pretty disgusting. But it's over. And so chapter 25 is a little bit of a break. I'm not sure if anyone's going to die. Maybe 1 or 2 people. I got to have someone die, right? But not a whole lot. As far as last week I was mentioning how I was starting to go to jiu-jitsu again. We were doing date night. My wife and I were doing date night at the youth center. We did go last week, and we're planning on having another awesome date night. But then I got a little carried away. I was a little too hard on my wife and trying to get her to. She is so close to doing a submission, so I was like, oh yeah, just go a little bit more. And she was telling me that her hands hurt and she couldn't do it. But I pushed her too hard, and so we stopped after like 20 minutes. We cut it short. Wasn't the best, but I apologized, and we're gonna try it again. And prior to that happening, I hurt my finger, my knee popped. I was like, I'm too old for this shit. But I'm not ready to give up yet. Just bought some new spats, some new shorts. Got actually a new rash guard from the youth center, the 10th Planet Whittier. Just came in today, so I need to go pick that up. So I might even go try to train tonight, and then we will do date night again tomorrow night. And this time I'll be a much better partner, and I will not push her too hard. It's difficult though. I've been around fighters my whole life. That's how I was trained from the very start. When I was training, it's like, no, you push past all that stuff. When you get to my age, that's not a smart thing to be doing, and we need to respect our bodies. I tell my wife that all the time, but I failed to practice it last week. But that's all behind us. So it'll be interesting to see how tonight goes if I do make it. It's kind of hard because I have to put the kids to bed, help with all that stuff, and I'm usually pretty fucking tired by nighttime. But I will try it today and see how that goes. It'll be fun to train again. I already got in. Let's see, I did 2 days of yoga this week. I'll do tomorrow morning for sure, and maybe even Friday. Weight's coming down. I'm feeling good. Pretty excited about this weekend. This weekend is the Festival of Books. I was a little bummed that my shirts will not be ready. I was dealing with a printer. They had some delays, and I'm not even sure whether or not I'm even going to use them now. And so I won't have those shirts ready for the Festival of Books. I'll have some Unlock in the Cage ones available, but the Ain't No Messiah and the Try Not to Die shirts will not be ready. But not a big deal. I have all my books. I got in some really cool booklets that I'll be passing out that have ads for this podcast, the first pages of 4 of my different books. And because for me, that's the number one way to find fans, is just have them read the first page. I found that pretty much either someone's really going to like the stuff or they're going to hate it. So whether it's Brightside, Ain't No Messiah, whatever, Each Time I Die, the first story in Twisted Reunion, and 5 Minutes Alone, I think by the first page you'll know whether or not you like my writing style and want to read more. So that's one thing I'm pretty proud of, and it's so giving out those booklets, asking people to read one page. That's a pretty easy sales pitch, and yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to meeting new people this weekend. It's always fun. Generally, the old me 6 years ago never would have considered doing this. Actually, I guess it was 6 or 7 years ago. I think that was the first time I did LA Times Festival of Books, but that was really difficult. I've come out of my shell more and more when I did Unlock in the Cage, and I went around the country interviewing people, had to go up to people all the time to introduce myself. That helped a lot, helped me break that, and now it's really not that big of a deal. So even though I'm still generally a hermit, I kind of like going out and meeting people, especially people that like to read, and especially people that like to read my kind of shit, which you can see behind me. Got the new poster for Ain't No Messiah right there. The glare is really bad, but I got Unlock in the Cage done up too. And then I already had the 25 Perfect Days and Twisted Reunion. So I am all set. So yeah, that should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. What else? There was something else, but I completely forget. Oh, I think I was going to mention my shoulder. I was going to look up when I had the stem cell therapy done on it, but of course I'm lazy and I didn't do it, and all I had to do was check my email, but I didn't. But let's say it was 5 months ago. I still have crunching in that shoulder, still makes some noise, not like it used to. Before, if I moved my arm at all, it'd just be grinding and crunching. It was hard to lay down. I had so much, I had some small tears in there, and really bad arthritis in the AC joint. But the stem cells pretty much knocked it out, because before I couldn't pick anything up. Like I just got done doing laundry. That's one of my duties here. So it hurt even just trying to pick up the laundry, stuff like that. But now I'm able to do yoga completely fine. I'm able to do jiu-jitsu. I don't seem to have any restrictions. Yesterday I went to the gym. I was actually lifting a little bit, and I'm going to see how I feel if I add that in. But man, I would say if you have the ability, if you have the funds to do the stem cell therapy and you are in a lot of pain, I would definitely talk to a doctor. It sucks that insurance doesn't cover it, but I think it is probably money well spent. It's almost like I have a new shoulder, so I would have sucked to have to go through life having to deal with the pain that I was having and knowing that it was going to get a lot worse, and I wouldn't have been able to do all these activities. So that has been cool. And the only other thing I got going on right now is I'm trying to plan a trip to Oregon. Going to go to Grants Pass so we can train jiu-jitsu out there. The kids and my wife and I will take 1 or 2 classes. And so on top of the jiu-jitsu, probably do a lot of hiking. Want to do some zip lining, horseback riding, all the stuff that the kids are into. I would like to check out the caves. They've got some really cool caves over there, but I'm not sure how good it'd be for anyone's anxiety. Some of us have a hard time in caves, so we will be skipping that, I think. And just finding shit that we all enjoy. So just being out with nature. I want to see the area. We're going to go land in Medford, go to Grants Pass, check out all that area, then also Ashland. That seems like a pretty cool artsy community. Haven't been there before, just everything I've read, all the pictures. Looks beautiful. So maybe this will be our retirement place. Who knows? But that's definitely one reason why I'm taking the family there, to check it out, see how much we like it. And if it is pretty cool, like I think it's going to be, maybe we'll end up there. But that will be determined at a later date. We're headed up there on Easter. So a little bit different. Usually we just do Easter with the family. This year we're like saying fuck it and we're taking off and doing, my daughter has spring break that week. So leaving on Easter and just having a week up there to enjoy ourselves. Hopefully it will be cool. All right, guys, I need to go pick up my son from kindergarten and do some work and some shopping and all that stay-at-home dad stuff. All good stuff, though. I'm incredibly lucky. That I am super grateful for. But let's leave you with some violence. In the last chapter, Joe barely escaped from his building, or he's about to escape from his building, and Wendell just sacrificed himself. And now we have chapter 18 of Brightside, narrated by T. Quillen. Stick around for the final chapter next week. All right, guys, hope you have an incredible week, and I will talk to you later. Peace.
Chapter 18. The smell of burning metal, leather, and flesh. Everyone is circled around the wreckage so I can't see the pilot or the gunner, just the one single blade rising toward the purpling sky. The sun is starting to creep under the horizon. I move through the crowd. Some people weep. Others just stare in shock. Harry, the hermit neighbor with his little toupee, is barking out instructions in his thick Boston accent, telling Brightsiders to take off their coats and carry them across the street. They lay them flat on the ground, start scooping handfuls of snow, piling them right on the coats. 2 people, one on each end, lift each coat like a hammock and shuffle back, flinging mounds of snow onto the flames. I don't know what I expected, but definitely not this. They're trying to put out the fire because of the pilot, who's still moving. His charred, blistered hand reaching out through the broken glass and twisted metal. The prisoners desperately trying to save their captor. Stockholm Syndrome is the first thought in my head. But these people genuinely want to help. They're praying they'll get to him before it's too late. They're good and decent. They don't want the man to die. They just see a crisis and want to do what's right. The government calls them thought thieves. But these people are definitely not terrorists. Unlike me. My stomach's climbing up my throat, and I try to escape the smoke but can't. The wind swirls it, covering me no matter which way I move. I bump into a woman and feel the shotgun almost slip out of my jacket. I tell her I'm sorry and keep my hand on the butt of the gun. More boots are arriving, but no one notices me. The pilot is all that matters. The pilot I shot down. Everything is telling me to run, but I keep it slow and steady. I can't draw attention, that I know. I'm not even watching where I'm going. I'm just moving down the street, and I can't stop picturing the pilot's hand. The desperate, pathetic reach. Each black finger pleading for help. I've never actively taken a life. Rachel died because of what I couldn't say. Lily because I stayed in one place too long. Let the boots close in. I stopped being Stephen's friend, but I didn't give him cancer. And Robert just heard my thoughts, but Wayne was the man who strung him up. The gunner, the pilot. This is completely on me. I aimed the gun. I pulled the trigger. Sharon's voice is echoing my father's.
You're going to do great things, Joe.
So fucking great. I actually thought I was doing the right thing. The boots were evil. They needed to be put down. But if that's the case, then why do I feel like shit? I don't even realize I'm near the pond, but Sarah's calling my name. She comes out running from behind some trees.
Oh, thank God. I didn't think you were going to show. I didn't know if something...
Sorry.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I can't believe you did it.
Sarah keeps looking past me, staring at something in the distance. I can't look back. Sarah smiles.
Well, we both made it.
How'd you get away from the boots?
They were searching a building near the square, questioning people, seeing if anyone knew anything. I just ran up and told them someone spotted Wayne in the office. There were only a few of them and they took off running. Called it in, I guess. I just walked away.
Sarah laughs, still freaked out. So you saw it? The helicopter? She nods.
You sure you're okay?
I picture the crash, the explosion. I only had one shot, and they're still trying to get him out from... He's trapped. I see the pilot's hand reaching.
Joe, you didn't have a choice.
I finally look back and see the huge cloud of black smoke. It's still rising. I hear the sirens. The ambulance must have arrived. They're going to have to cut through the metal.
Joe, come on. We have to hurry.
But I'm moving back toward the wreckage. Sarah yanks my arm.
What are you doing?
She spins me a little.
Joe, hey, listen to me.
She grabs my face.
We have to get to Danny.
Even with her holding my face, I can't stop looking at the black smoke rising up from the carnage, the flesh.
Joe, come on.
She's pulling me, but I'm fighting it. She says,
Danny needs us. He needs you, Joe. He's your friend, remember?
It's like I've just been slapped awake. Right. Yeah. Sorry. I start for the woods, holding tight to the image of Danny, of Wayne. I tell myself not to look back, just get to the cave. The sun's halfway under the horizon. Streaks of red splash across the sky and dissolve into the darkness of night. I can hardly see, and am unsure which way to go.
Joe, what are you doing? Why are you stopping?
I can't remember. I look left, and it seems kind of familiar, but so does the right. It's all just trees and snow, and I have no fucking clue.
Joe,
she shakes me.
Relax, okay?
I'm trying, but she's still shaking me. Finally, she stops.
Just clear your head and think. Which way is the mine?
I close my eyes. Try to remember the first time I found it. The huge tree crashing down, uncovering the entrance. I picture the rusted metal tracks.
Hey, come on. Focus. Where were you before the mine?
Sarah asks. She's pissed and needs me to get this. I remember I just got off the phone with Mom. She said my father had turned me in, and I started running. Lost one of my shoes in the snow.
What else?
It takes me a second. Then, suddenly, it's clear. I went to the tree. The one where I'd carved Michelle and Rachel's names, which later I scratched out because I can't stop hurting every woman I meet. Sarah doesn't have time for my bullshit, but it reminds me I'm not too far from their names. I take off running, and the shotgun starts to slide out of my jacket. I pull it out, carry it in one hand. The snow is halfway up our shins, but we keep plodding. Even when Sarah gets stuck, I grab her hand and pull. 20 more yards, the carving just visible. We just need to angle right, then head up the hill. The fallen tree is at the bottom, wedged against a few towering pines. It's up here, I say, and help Sarah keep her balance up the rocky, snow-covered slope. The cave is still covered by rocks, completely untouched. But there's no one here. Sharon and the others should be waiting. That was the plan. I walk around the cave, looking into the woods. The gunmetal is freezing on my bare hand, so I set it against the rocks and keep looking around. Sharon and the others must have seen the helicopter crash, or at least heard it. I start to wonder if they've already escaped, but they couldn't have put back the rocks. They're covered with too much snow. I tell Sarah it doesn't make any sense. Sarah's not paying attention. She's looking at the trees, turning around in circles, anxious and panicked. I know she's not talking about Sharon when she asks,
Where are they?
I tell her to be quiet.
There's something coming from far away. It sounds like gunshots, but it's too faint to be sure. A voice rings out. Sarah? Danny? Sarah turns around and calls his name again, but there's no answer. Seconds tick by, and I start thinking I'm going insane. Then Wayne, with a knife to Danny's throat, comes walking out of the trees. Wayne's eyes dart around the forest. He sees we're alone. Danny's pencil is gone. Fist empty, his thumb rubbing up and down his knuckle. His eyes are filled with tears and ready to burst and stream. Let him go, Sarah says. Wayne just brings the knife closer to Danny's neck. They're in the shadows, so it's too dark to see. But Danny's gasp says the blade's piercing skin. Stop it! You're hurting him! Wayne's jaw clenches under that nasty beard. His eyes gleaming at me. Shut her fucking mouth or I'll take the retard's head. Sarah starts for Wayne, but I pull her back, tell her to stay calm. Wayne, I say, now, we had a deal. Oh, I'm aware. And I did my part. So let Danny go. Wayne sticks out his neck, swivels it left, then right. I don't see the rest of the party. I don't know where they're at. Then you broke the deal. You said I had to take out the helicopter. No, that Zen cunt told you you had to do that. I said you had to convince her to let me tag along. I don't know where she is. Then you didn't live up to your part of the bargain. Wayne takes a fistful of Danny's hair and snaps back his head, the knife pressing hard against Danny's throat. Please, Sarah says, please don't. Wayne, you don't need to do this. I'm trying to keep my voice steady. We don't even need Sharon. We can go on our own. Wayne clicks his tongue. Yeah. I don't like that idea. Unless you got a car waiting. There's no point in lying. Not with Wayne. So I tell him I don't. But I remind him we're out of options. The helicopter's down, but another one could be here any minute. So unless he wants to head back and turn himself in, we need to go now. Wayne mulls it over. I know he is going to slit Danny's throat no matter what, so I keep my eyes locked on his. I don't even blink. You kill him, I say, and I'm not lifting a fucking stone. There's no way you'll get down by yourself. Wayne laughs. Mama's boy wants to be a man. Wayne turns towards Sarah, the tip of his tongue sliding over his lips. Maybe I'll just stick here. Enjoy your lady. I blow out Wayne's sick fantasy. We're running out of time. We can do this quicker with Danny. Wayne seems disappointed. He lets Danny go with a shove. Danny runs into Sarah's arms. She squeezes him with everything she's got, pats his hair, asks if he's all right. Danny gulps and nods. She checks his neck. It's bleeding, but not bad. Well, let's get to work, Wayne says. I look to Sarah and tell her to go on. Let her know this is our only play. Danny moves to the cave and starts pulling away rocks. Sarah and I help while Wayne wipes the bloody knife on his shirt. I drop a rock and look at Wayne, ask him if he's just going to stand there. Wayne slides the knife in his belt and lifts a huge stone. I can tell it's hurting his back, but he turns and chucks it to the ground. Sarah tries to lift a big one too, but can't. She starts to move a smaller rock, but I tell Danny to help his sister. He's got a small stick in his fist, but works around it. Grabs one end of the rock, and they pry it out, both of them stepping sideways a few feet. Wayne's staring at me. I just lift another huge rock, focus my thoughts on the weight. I drop it as Sarah and Danny drop theirs. Then, I see my opportunity. Sarah and Danny are out of the way. I run and grab the shotgun. But before I can even take aim, Wayne says, "Now, Joe, why do you have to go and complicate things?" Still, I point the hollow end right at his face and wedge myself between Wayne and Danny. Wayne's cocking his head, sizing me up. He says, "Mama didn't raise a killer." Fuck you, Wayne. I already broke my cherry. I'm trying to sound tough, but Wayne's inside my head. He rubs his beard. "But you didn't like the taste, did you?" Wayne narrows his eyes. He's burrowing around inside me. "How'd you do it, Joe? How'd you take down that chopper?" I'm trying to hum, to block it all out. "You looked those men in the eye, like your daddy told you, A grin spreads over Wayne's face. "Or did you wait until they were down below and shoot them in the back?" I can't get the pilot out of my head fast enough. I'm humming as loud as I can, and Wayne's still grinning. I tell him to back up, but he just keeps coming. Not even moving his hands, just presses his chest against the barrel. Wayne's breath pours over my face, and I jab him with the gun to push him back, but Wayne leans in, so I'm practically holding him up, the hollow end digging into his ribs. "I'm right here, Joe. What's it gonna be? You a coward or a man?" I hear my father's voice telling me to stop being such a goddamn baby, and Wayne laughing. My finger's on the trigger. I can feel it fine under my skin. But Wayne keeps leaning, his eyes wide and psychotic. I just can't squeeze. Wayne grabs the barrel, shoves it away from his chest. I'm holding the butt of the gun, both of us yanking, pulling, grunting. Then Wayne gets his other hand on the gun and slams me back into the rocks, knocking everything out of me. He's using both hands, one on each end of the shotgun, forcing it against my throat. I push back on the barrel, and Wayne pulls me away from the rocks and then crushes me back against them, my head smacking, nearly splitting. My legs give out, but he's holding me up with the Mossberg on my neck, cutting off air. I close my eyes and try to kick, but Wayne throws out a knee and blocks it. "Look at me, Joe. This is how you do it. You look 'em right in the eye." Danny's roar only lasts a second, but it's enough to get Wayne to turn. Just in time to see Danny's hands coming at him. The stick punches through Wayne's cheek, Danny's fingers digging into Wayne's eyes. They spin. The Mossberg flies out of Wayne's grasp and cracks against a rock. I'm on all fours, sucking air. Wayne and Danny are pulling and pushing and punching, a snarling violence that collapses to the ground. Probably close enough to touch, but I can't lift my head to know for sure. Wayne's laugh almost covers the sliding of metal on leather. Sarah screams. I look up and see Wayne holding the knife high above his head, ready to drive it through Danny's chest. I look for the gun, but I can't find it. It's somewhere buried in the snow. So I dive into Wayne. We start tumbling, rolling down the hill. This sharp pain carves into my side, but I can't tell if it's the knife or just a rock. Finally, we stop rolling, and Wayne crawls on top of me, a jagged hole in his cheek. Spit falls from his lips onto mine. He wipes the snow from his hair, sniffs, sucking up blood and snot. He flips the knife around in his hand so he can get a better grip. "Please," I hear my voice squeak. Wayne's thinking about how good it's going to feel to slice through me, the cartilage and fibers shredding and spraying blood like warm rain. Then comes the crack, and I see the hole in Wayne's head, all dark and hollow. It's about the size of a dime. Wayne's eyes are focused on something behind me until there's no focus at all. He falls to his side, his face half swallowed by the snow. which dissolves and turns crimson. I force off his legs and expect to see Danny or Sarah with the shotgun. Instead, I see Sheriff Melvin, Sharon, and about 40 other people. Melvin is holding a revolver. His uniform is covered in blood. Same goes for half a dozen of the Brightsiders. They look like they've been through a war, bruised and broken, their bodies still carrying fragments of lead. Melvin stands over me and asks, "Can you get up?" "Yeah." "Good, because I ain't carrying your ass." I get up to my knees and feel the pain shooting down my side. My jacket is torn, and I unzip it, peer in, and see the blood. My fingers feel around the wound, and it's not very deep. The jacket took most of the damage. Danny and Sarah run over and help me to my feet. Sarah asks if I'm okay, and I tell her I'm fine. Danny keeps apologizing for not stopping Wayne. "It's okay, Danny," I say. "You saved my life." That simple joy returns to Danny's eyes. "I did good?" "Yeah, real good." We walk back to the cave where the Brightsiders are ripping down the rest of the rocks. Sharon gets in my face. "Who knows about this place?" "No one. Just Sarah and Danny." Sharon looks at Wayne's lifeless body. I say, "And him too." Sharon doesn't find it funny. Apparently, her little club has a leak. The Boots found out about the escape. There was gunfire in the square. A few people died. "Joe, I need you to think about this real hard," Sharon says. "Is there anyone else that's not here who knows about the cave?" Rachel knew, but she's dead. Same went for Robert. I didn't tell another soul. "Did anyone see you on the roof?" "A couple of people, but no one could have known about this place. They were down on the sidewalk. They only saw me fire the shot." "What about afterwards?" I picture the stairs, the office, the elevator, that big paw waving me into the bathroom. Sharon's face squinches up. "Wendell?" "Yeah, but I didn't tell him anything he already knew. He heard it from someone else. But he didn't tell anyone. At least not after he saw me." "And how do you know that?" "Because he's dead." "Still, he heard it from someone. Who?" "I don't know, Sharon. It could be anyone. I mean, this operation isn't exactly a well-oiled machine." Sharon glares at me, then walks over to the cave. "All right, everyone, listen up. We've got 10 minutes to get off this mountain, or else our ride is gone, so let's move." Sharon's chosen ones keep hurling rocks. A few have torches, which they douse with gasoline. Carlos and some guy who works at the deli carry this giant spooled-up ladder. Danny says, I want to help." Sarah tells him okay, and Danny heads over to the cave and starts chucking rocks. Sarah looks at my torn jacket, but doesn't ask about the cut. She's listening to my thoughts about Wendell, another unlucky soul who made the mistake of running into me. He didn't need to die. He was just trying to help me, even after all the awful shit he heard me think about him. "It's going to be okay. It will," Sarah says. "We're getting out of here." Yeah, lucky us. All Wendell wanted was for me to help his sister, Becky. He gave up his life because I promised him I would. "Joe, you need to let it go. We only have 10 minutes to get out of here. The girl will be fine." No. Once we're gone, the people left behind will never be safe. They'll lock it down and turn it into a zoo. Carlos and the guy from the deli set down the spooled-up ladder. I walk over. Carlos looks up and says, "Joe." I don't have time for him. I say to the other guy, "Do you know Becky, Wendell's sister? She works with you, I think." He says he does. Feels like shit about it. The girl's only 16. She has no one left. "Do you know where she is? Where I can find her?" "She was at the deli earlier, but there's a curfew now. Might be at home. Lodge too, I think. Yeah, Second floor. I nod and turn back. Sarah's right there. Joe, come on. Let's just go help Danny, okay? Sarah takes my arm. But I'm not going with her. I'm looking for the shotgun. Are you crazy? If you go back there with a gun, they'll kill you. Sarah's right. I have to go unarmed. One shotgun isn't going to stop every boot. It's only going to draw them in. Joe, please don't do this. I look at the cave. They're only halfway done with the rocks. I'm already backing down the hill. Sarah begs me to stay. I tell her, I'll be back in time. I promise. Yeah? And if you're not? Then leave, and don't look back. Sarah is still yelling as I take off into the woods. I'm running down the hill. Trees fly by. I jump over a log, dodge holes, angle left at my carvings. I pump my arms as fast as they go. The pond is less than 20 yards away. My left foot slides out from beneath me and gets caught on something in the snow, my ankle cracking. It's not broken, but it's definitely sprained. I don't have long before it swells. I put most of the pressure on my right leg but keep moving. My left foot barely touches the ground as I head towards the square.